Hi everyone, I wanted to record a video that might help you install my mod for Skyrim called Better Vampires. I like to use Mod Organizer myself to install my mods, and I've used Nexus Mod Manager in the past. Today I'm going to be using Mod Organizer. Before you use Mod Organizer, however, I would recommend you download my batch file off of my Nexus page. It's called Remove Better Vampires, and I'm going to drag that into the data folder for Skyrim. This batch file will delete all of the scripts that my mod uses, so it's really useful if you want to clean up my mod or for troubleshooting, but it's also really nice to run at the beginning before you ever install my mod. So I'm going to press key to continue, and then you can actually remove the batch file too. Press any key to continue. I'm not going to. It's already removed any scripts that might be there. So that cleans everything up for you ahead of time. Now I'm going to open up Mod Organizer. And you can see this is my testing. I don't have very many mods enabled already. I'm going to add in the Better Vampires mod that I already downloaded. And here's my installer. It's fairly simple. You can choose Dawnguard, or for those of you that aren't using Dawnguard, click Next. If you want, you can have a patch for Royal Bloodline. There's also an option to make Vampire Lord Drain not an area of attack, so it only attacks one person at a time. Click Install, and you'll see down at the bottom that Better Vampires is now here. I'm going to check it, and the ESP is now loaded in here. In case you don't get flags showing up here, I like to go and refresh and double click on the mod. Check the conflicts tab, and you want to make sure that there's nothing here. This means another mod is overwriting my stuff. You want to look up here. This is going to be overwriting. As you can see, I have a few additions to the blood potions. This is the most important one in the whole mod, player vampire quest script. If something's overwriting that, my mod is not going to work. It's going to say not using Better Vampire scripts. So everything seems to be running fine. Before even starting your game now, though, I highly recommend you run loot that will sort your load order. It doesn't matter as much here, but if you have a lot of mods, it's going to come in handy. So I'm going to sort my plugins. Works fairly quickly. And click Apply. And as you can see, it says there are 3 dirty plugins. That's referring to some of the ESMs. I'm not going to go ahead and clean those. There are no errors outright. So everything is fine. And you can see here that it's adjusted my load order just a little bit. So Better Vampires has been moved up before Sky UI and Alternate Start Live Another Life. So I'm going to click Run now. I'm going to start up the game, and I'll see you in game. So here we are in the game. I use Alternate Start Live Another Life. It's a really, really good mod, and it lets you skip the really lengthy cutscene at the beginning of the game. I'm going to hit Escape and see if my menus have loaded up. And you can see that Better Vampires MCM isn't there yet. That will happen sometimes in Skyrim. You just have to wait a while. Try and see if your MCM shows up. Run around, say hi to the neighbors. And as you can see, there it is. So here's Better Vampires MCM. Now, before you become a vampire, if you want to use Live Another Life to do that, you can use my mod to do that as well. You want to make sure you go and set up everything. So as you can see, I'm not a vampire yet. I'm not using any scripts from my mod. So all these things are flagged here. I like to use hotkeys, especially to check what my status is. General options, you can set up what you want. I normally play with reverse, affected by hunger. I like to have blood points as well. It's a relatively new addition to my mod. I find it really changes the game. I like it. Miscellaneous options, I get really tired with the red screen and blurred screen when I'm going outside. And these other ones are for troubleshooting, cleanup, and charts to let you know how the game's progressing. Now, if you're using Live Another Life, after you set up everything for my mod, you can use the Statue of Mara, and then you can start your life as a vampire in a secluded lair. Instead of that, though, I'm going to show you how to just use my MCM to infect yourself with vampirism. So we're going to go to Troubleshooting and Cleanup and Reset Sanguinar Vampiris. This will actually reinfect you, and then you can rest 72 hours and you'll become a vampire for the first time. So if you're not using Live Another Life and you're not starting out as a vampire, you can do this. Now you have to exit the menus. You'll see some messages. You weren't flagged as a vampire. It's been cured. Blood points are taken off. And I've now been reinfected. So you can wait for 72 hours. I am going to set myself to sleep using the console. So I'm going to sleep for 72 hours. And it won't change immediately. Once it says I've woken up again, you'll have to wait for 1 more hour. And then the disease will kick in and it will change you into a vampire. So as you can see, it sets you to your stage of vampirism to begin with. With Live Another Life, I think they set you to a stage 3 vampire to start with. With my mod, when you reset vampirism, it starts you at a stage 1, fully fed vampire. Now you'll see that vampiric rank is not identified. So far, I haven't fed on anybody, and it hasn't set my rank. So you've got to find somebody to feed on. Under general options, you can also set corpse feeding. So feeding on a corpse will affect your stages, and then you'll be able to have that all set up. So going to status now, you can see everything is set up normally here. I just have to feed once to update my game, and then everything will be fine. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to make another video on troubleshooting for those people that just can't seem to get the Better Vampire scripts running, whether it's a conflict or something like that. So I hope you found this helpful, and don't forget, probably the best tool in your arsenal is using that batch file at the beginning of the game just to make sure everything's cleaned up, and using loot to sort your load order. Thanks a lot. Have fun playing.